Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great weekend. Excitement, I think, is the fitting word. So it was, I think it was a few weeks ago. We got a comment here on one of the videos, and there was someone who watches the videos, been sticking with us for a long time, and we know that Electroneum's been sub 1 cent for like 18 months now. And so a lot of people kind of, we know when this happens in the community, people stop talking about Electroneum, they give up. And so even I was kind of cutting back on some videos there, right? But I try to still visit Electroneum as much as possible, even though I'm very busy with my own project. But one gentleman was saying that you're still sticking with Electroneum. We're just here to let you know we're still. And I just found that so funny. Great to have viewers like you all. But there seems to be a little vindication happening with Electroneum. Has been happening over the last month, and we saw Electroneum climb something like 450% over a course of 30 days. It did something like a 10x over a course of over the last several months, right? It was at 1/10 of a cent. It broke over a penny today. And although it's pulled back some, it's still holding close to that penny range. And I think as long as that the positive sentiment stays with Electron, we can probably see the value stay around those areas, right? So I always say the Electroneum true believers have benefited, and it takes me back to one of my first lessons in investing, and that was invest in things you like, right? I feel like Electroneum is one of those deserving projects. I feel like at times we're beating a dead horse to the rest of the crypto community to say, look at this project. This project is actually solving real problems. It is packaged in a way that makes a lot of sense, as we're going to discuss a little bit in this video. And what is just so disappointing for me is that the cryptocurrency space has treated itself so much like a casino that I don't think people even care about use cases anymore. I think people just, as long as the numbers are going up on the screen, despite what they mean, they're happy with that, right? And basically, what does that mean? It means that they're really just trying to cash out into a fiat currency, right? Because if you're not using cryptocurrency for anything to facilitate anything, then what else could you be doing with it beyond just speculating and then at some point cashing out into a fiat currency, which, in my opinion, kind of makes you not really a full crypto person, right? You're kind of anti-crypto a little bit, right? Because you're not really using the cryptocurrency, right? And if you watch my videos, I go through Bitcoin a lot, and I talk about how I don't use Bitcoin and how I think it's very odd and weird that people. And I get that Bitcoin was the progenitor, and we've stood on the shoulders of giants of Bitcoin, but a lot of projects that have paved the way have also set aside for other projects to go forward. Like, I don't believe that Satoshi necessarily envisioned that it was going to be Bitcoin forever. I think he might have saw Bitcoin as a stepping stone, and in the future we would develop technology such as this as we're doing, right? So for the Bitcoin maximalists, I think that's important that they understand that that it doesn't necessarily mean that Satoshi meant that Bitcoin was supposed to be the only cryptocurrency that people were supposed to use. The blockchain technology is what is indicative of the future, not necessarily just being in Bitcoin itself, right? But let's take a look at Electroneum. Let's look at some interesting things here on the roadmap. Of course, we know for the first quarter of 2020, they've completed many of these things, right? The Anytask.com website, unbanked freelancer platform launches worldwide. Anytask.com ad campaign and buyer campaign goes live Awesome. Electroneum is listed on Bkey, a top 20 exchange. Electroneum collaborates directly with many MNO cell card on mobile top-ups in Cambodia. And get this part. This is the part that should blow you all away in cryptocurrency, who I don't think quite understand what Electroneum is and what use cases it are. But global mobile top-ups launch mobile data and airtime now available to buy in ETN directly via Electroneum app in over 140 countries, almost every country in the world, right? This is a project that's identified something. It's formed an objective. It has a well thought out plan. And a lot of cryptocurrency projects I've looked at and I've asked that question. You know, how has this cryptocurrency project planned for the next 4 or 5 years down the road? And many of them basically are, you're left speechless with them. One big issue is just the nature of decentralization itself, right? So it's kind of hard in some cases for that, but they still should be solving significant problems in the world if they really expect people to use these cryptocurrencies, right? It gets even better, right? Let's look at some of the coming soon things. Now, this is what kind of blew me away. Learning management platform taskschool.com in beta. Merchant programs, ETN everywhere launching into beta. U.S. exchange is being pursued. Listing on Binance Exchange being pursued. Deeper liquidity through partnerships and ecosystem development. But get this part. Utility integration. Pay for electricity and more with ETN. They're talking about now partnering up with these electrical companies across these countries they're in. And these people are going to be able to pay their light bill with Electroneum. They're already paying for their cell phone minutes with these partnerships with mobile operators. This is what real use cases look like, right? I know a lot of people talk about Bitcoin and they talk about Bitcoin merchants, and then they got these rebate-like programs with Bitcoin. They say, oh, that's great. But that's nothing like on a level of what this is doing, right? And not just how it's doing, but how well put together it is. This is a team that goes to work every day. They know how to market, package this thing. They know how to get the partnerships, signature on the dotted lines, because they're Electroneum, the company, so they can step out of that decentralization into centralization, do partnerships when necessary, and yet have that hybrid structure of decentralization, right? That is kind of the holy grail, I think, of what you're going to need with cryptocurrency, right? So just look at this. I mean, if people don't think this is amazing, I do not know what to say. Electroneum dropped to like 50, in the 50 range, top 50, which is awesome. I mean, it moved something like 90 spots or something very quickly. I think it's around the 65 range now, but I don't think Electroneum's done yet as far as performing well. I think people are going to start to realize that it's probably not a good idea to sleep on Electroneum, because every several months Electroneum wakes up, right? But every time it wakes up, it's climbed a new plateau, right? And so this is a cryptocurrency that's here to stay, right? If nothing else, it should give you a sense of security, for lack of a better word, or a more so a feeling of certainty that Electroneum is going to be around. Maybe when many of these other cryptocurrency projects, it has been discovered that they have no use case and people aren't going to use them. These people are going to be able to pay their light bills with Electroneum. They're going to be able to. They're already able to pay their their mobile minutes with their phone carriers, mobile phone carriers, and they're also going to be able to do their utilities. It looks like, and when Electroneum sets these things up, they execute them one by one. They've already created a customized smartphone, as we well know, that integrates well into the product. So this is just amazing. This excites me in cryptocurrency to see this type of thing. And I think when I go out and I have conversations with a lot of people and they say things like, "Oh, you should be buying one of these top 10 cryptocurrencies," or something to that effect. This is why I kind of scratch my head and go like, what are these guys doing? Are they just speculating to no end? They're not. People aren't going to really use these things. And then they talk about the security of the network. Okay, well, that may very well be the case that the network is secure, but it doesn't have the proper structure for commerce, right? Chargebacks, you can't charge things back. It just doesn't work as well as how Electroneum has integrated several features from the instant payment processor just to how they're able to conduct business. With Electroneum, it does work more in line with what can be a competitive system against Visa, MasterCard, whereas at the same time being this global cryptocurrency in a way that I think is going to make sense to a lot of world. So very excited to tell you guys about all of that. Electroneum, this is a real project, guys, and I think people in cryptocurrency. In fact, I'm starting to see some wake up now that I didn't see before across social media talk about Electroneum. But I think they're going to talk about it a little bit more. I think they're going to stick to it this time because they keep seeing that Electroneum won't die. So good going, guys. I'm glad to bring you that, and for you guys who've been hanging in there with Electroneum a long time. I can only say that you're probably a great deal like me. You stick with products that make sense, that you like. You don't get involved with the casino or a lot of that gambling that goes on in cryptocurrency. You're looking for something that really solves a problem in the world, really helps people, is really usable for people. And I think you're going to always come out better in that way, in that approach, in my opinion. But that's all I want to say about Electroneum. I want to segue real quick over to my project that I've been working on quite a while, Btcmyk. It's also got an update. Want to show you that real quick. It's another one of these projects I'm very passionate about, not just saying it because I'm biased about it, but I really do think it makes a lot of sense. Want to tell you about some of the things going on with it real quick. All right, so the Btcmyk project has got a new update, new layout, and some of you probably heard me talk about it before. Universal basic income, deflationary cryptocurrency, right? The global free cryptocurrency to the people. And what's so very interesting about this project, when you look at approaches like Electroneum, where you have these problems being solved to developing nations, unbanked people, where you have these very well packaged systems integrated to where they can use cryptocurrency easy through their mobile devices. Btcmyk walks a very similar path. It uses universal basic income to reach the globe, give people economic prosperity, give them dignity and value. But as well as that, Btcmyk does something a little bit different than many cryptocurrencies. It's a deflationary coin. And what it means that as people get more and more of these Btcmyk tokens, they collect them as part of their universal basic income, the supply reduces. So the network itself builds value into the project, yet the supply ever reduces against that, right? And so what's happening is, as people are coming in collecting more of these cryptocurrencies, they are actually as well getting more value in the network. So it's a very interesting project, very interesting idea. We call it Btcmyk because besides giving the supply to cryptocurrency users through the form of universal basic income, Bitcoin holders get to claim it in relation to their Bitcoin holdings, right? So they get to do a little something, a little bit more. So if you have Bitcoin, you're able to claim relational our cryptocurrency to that. What this does is, besides just building up our network with Universal Bits Income, it also builds up part of the Bitcoin network integrated with us, and being able to move some of this value back and forth across the globe at the same time, creating a mass adoption vehicle. So very proud and passionate about this project. Universal Bits Income has become a hot topic, especially what's happening with the global pandemic COVID-19, how we deal with future plagues such as this, how we're going to deal with the future of robotics and automation. So just a lot to unpack there, and we think that Bitcoin is gonna lead the charge and helping us get there. But there's just so many great things about this project besides just its deflationary quality, meaning when transactions are done, supply burns lower and lower, right? So one problem I think Electroneum's been having, and although we love Electroneum, many of us are noticing that the Electroneum supply is just so huge that it makes it a lot harder for the value to grow up. And that's been a concern with some Electroneum users. We've wanted to have that supply burn. And Bitcoin it already does that. And because of that, we see our value climbing up very high. We start at fractions of pennies. On some exchanges, we're already at $3 a token. And you can get tokens absolutely free just by registering with the site. They're trading over $3 tokens on the High Vision Exchange. And so these are cryptocurrencies of value. People are actually using them. People are actually buying them. And it's kind of funny because when I first started the project, so many people were telling me that, if you're giving away a free cryptocurrency, people aren't really going to want to use that cryptocurrency. They're not going to really want to participate because they're not going to see value in it. But as we've stuck with the project and went on, and we made adjustments to account for things that bring value to a network, such as growth, we found that people have actually purchased the cryptocurrency and people do trade it. And I think that just has a lot to do with the gamification of the deflation model mixed into that, right? So we took certain steps to make this project be appealing to many people, right? And this is just a part of the site as well for video hosting. So if you're a content creator, video person, you can post here on our site, get more attention, value to your videos, as well earn our cryptocurrency. So just so much cool things. You visit the site. I think you guys are going to really like that. We also want to tell you about how our staking works real quick. I'm going to take you over there and let you look at that latest updated feature. All right, so we're here on our simulated mining page. And what happens is you're able to lease our miners, which are Btcmyk. And it's very cool. This is all simulated. What happens is when you lease the miners, you're able to basically mine our cryptocurrency. And the miners aren't purchased. They're actually leased through our staking mechanism. And your stake is given back every 30 days, right? So you have to keep your coin staked for at least 30 days until they mature. Once they mature, you take them off the market. You can get your mining rewards as well. So I want to show you some of the very interesting parts. Let me see if I can get down here because we have quite a bit of miners we had in our network here. I believe something like nearly 700 so far. But let me see here. Let me show you what's so very interesting about this. Let's see here. Trying to get to the our latest mining data. But it basically shows when people are coming out of their stakes. So that's pretty interesting because that data can be used as well to basically use for your market trading data. So a lot of people are coming out of stakes. That might not be the best time to sell your coins, right? So here we go. Here we see somebody's maturity date going to happen on June the 14th, right? And so they've staked 170 miners. So what happens is when they come out, it's possible they might want to sell some of their cryptocurrency. So as a trader, you'll probably know that's probably not the best time to sell. So this is very interesting how the staking mechanism works. And as one of our latest features to the Btcmyk project, and a lot of fun because it's also when you solve a block rewarded our simulation game, which is basically what it is. It's not real mining. It's simulated, and that's very important because by not doing real mining, we think this is going to be the way forward in the future, where we don't exhaust as many resources. That's why projects like Electroneum are using algorithms like proof of responsibility, and so you don't have all this equipment wasting all these resources. We just have a simulation of it, and the cryptocurrencies are rewarded to the miners that solve the algorithm, right? And so every night there's a block reward, as it were, but you also receive a bonus on top of that. So it's this very fun game that we participate in through the system every evening with our miners and so on and so forth. So so we definitely love for you all to check it out, participate. In fact, you're going to be able to lease our miners with Electroneum. So we're going to be adding that to the system. We're also going to be interested in getting basically set up on the Electroneum Everywhere site because with our Btcmyk cryptocurrency, you're going to also be able to advertise with it. But we're pretty sure the site's going to take Electroneum as well. So by taking Electroneum, you'll be able to take your Electroneum. You can advertise on our site. And as our site's growing, traffic's growing, we believe it'll be a pretty big site because universal basic income is a big hot topic right now. And so we believe that a lot of people are going to be visiting the site for universal basic income. In doing so, we believe that's a great advertising situation for a lot of projects. And so you'll be able to take your Electroneum through the ad package program. We will be accepting it. You'll be able to lease our miners with your Electroneum. You'll be able to advertise with your Electroneum on our site. And so we're going to be setting that up here in the near future. But just glad, guys, to see how Electroneum's kind of vindicated itself a little bit, starting to do very well, getting back over that ICO price. Great future ahead. It is a project, I think, that requires patience. We're a society now where gratification or instant gratification rather, and having things now and everything being at a touch of a button, we have trouble, I think, in investing in projects long term in cryptocurrency. Not only that, but cryptocurrency, the technology moves so fast that sometimes you have to kind of be aware of that. But I think with Electroneum, it's just moved in an area that nobody can follow, right? The type of direction it's taken, this hybrid between centralization and decentralization, I believe will work here in the near future better than many other cryptocurrency models. And so it's just, it excites me to see projects like this. When I'm talking about use cases, I'm talking about projects, I have ideas in mind like Electroneum, right? I have ideas in mind like Btcmyk. Now, if I'm honest about many other projects, where sometimes I talk about them and they perform very well on price, and that's great, right? Everybody likes to make money and appreciation. Oftentimes, you won't hear me speak a lot about their use cases, right? And so the only two projects right now in cryptocurrency, and it could be more, maybe I've just looked over some because I've heard some people talk about IOTA and Cardano, even though I haven't really seen great breakout situations with any of them. But right now, I would say the ones I'm more impressed with is Electroneum and our project Btcmyk, simply because I think they're going to be able to scale the biggest, right? I think just like how Electroneum is able to get in 140 countries, that's going to equal a large-scale project by the time it's done. I think because Bitcoin MYK deals with not only universal basic income, one of the hottest topics, and maybe one of the greatest use cases in cryptocurrency, I believe. Besides that, it's a deflationary token, right? So it it does that deflationary thing. It's burned against its transactions to where investors can have more value of the network, don't have to deal with a lot of inflation and a lot of cryptocurrency to get through. These type projects, I believe, are echoing into what the future is going to look like. And so don't sell yourself short on these projects. I think in the end, products being useful to people are going to beat speculation. I know that seems hard to believe right now, but things do change. And I do believe that in over the course of the next several months, maybe next few years, you're going to see projects that people really use do very well in cryptocurrency. That is my prediction. I hope it's right. But that's all I want to say in this video, guys. I've really enjoyed seeing Electroneum come back up again. Let me all know how you feel about it, what you think about it. Also, let me, if you got a chance, take a moment to not just look at Electroneum, but look at our project, Bitcoin MYK, because just like how many of you have benefited from Electroneum, those that have stuck in, those that were maybe buying when it was dipping low and lower, a tenth of a penny, who probably have a nice bag now, probably 10x your investment. Take a look at Bitcoin MYK, because not just saying it because it's my project, but I don't want you all to miss it, because we are starting to get people getting very interested in the project, coming in, trading the token, really starting to understand it. And I wouldn't want you all to miss out on that. So check out Bitcoin MYK, get involved, ask questions about it. Come to our Discord chat. We'll leave a link in the description. And we'll be more happy to answer any questions you might have about it. But that's all I want to say in this video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.